creative play on Broadway this year is Tina Landau's SpongeBob SquarePants. Tina, this is the most creative thing I've ever seen. Where did you find it in your soul to bring this?
I love that you say that. Thank you so much, first of all. Yeah. Am I good talking to you? Okay. I was allowed to dream. I was allowed to play. It was many years of daydreaming and working with the designers and just letting our minds go to wherever they went. So the inspiration came from all over, from art installations and parties and music we love, and we just kind of threw it all in the pot.
Now, it's very hard to stay positive in this day and age. What do you do to stay positive?
I just remain grateful every day for what I have, rather than worrying about what I don't have. I love working with what I'm given and not stressing out over things I can't change.
And what are you working on now?
Well, I'm working on this, and then my next show is a musical called Dave, which will be at Arena Stage, score by Tom Kitt, lyrics by Nell Benjamin, and I'm very excited about that. And I have a show running at Steppenwolf right now.
Which one?
It's called The Doppelganger, with Rainn Wilson is in it, and it's a full-on farce. It's really fun.
Thank you. Ooh, Love to Love You Baby from the Donna Summer musical, we have LaChanze.
Hi.
What is your favorite Donna Summer memory?
My favorite Donna Summer memory is sneaking when I was a little girl, and I could listen to Ooh, Love to Love You Baby in my bedroom on my little record player with my mother not knowing, because when we were in the car in the back seat and it never came on, she would turn it down because it sounded so sensual. But I would sneak and listen anyway in my room.
It's very hard to stay positive in this atmosphere right now. How do you stay positive?
What do you mean hard? You mean in terms of the competition, or?
No, in terms of like where we are in the world, with everything that's happening.
Our political environment.
Well, that, and also like all of the things that are happening with volcanoes and earthquakes.
Oh my God. Well, I tell you, the one thing that I am a mother, I have 2 children, so I'm not always positive. I also experience worry and stress and anxiety. I have a daughter right now who is up at ART debuting in her very first musical, and she's struggling with the pressures of being away from home, not having me there. So I worry with all that's happening in the world. I do worry. But the one thing that I do for a living is I bring joy to people. I make people feel and remove them from the stress of the world for at least an hour and 45 minutes of their day, and that does bring me some pleasure.
David Morse, I'm in the Iceman Cometh.
Now, this is a very deep and dark play. What did you do to bring yourself to that role?
Well, part of this role is just, he's a man with secrets. So I had to kind of discover for myself what those secrets were. O'Neill doesn't tell us. He tells us some things. But the fun is finding those for myself and not telling them to anybody else.
It's very hard to stay positive in this day and age. What do you do to keep yourself positive?
I put my attention on my family, for one thing, which I think we all should do. I've got, luckily, a wonderful family. But also, choosing good work to do. And this is one of those things. Iceman, as you say, it's sort of deep and dark, but there's also a great life and humor and affection in it that O'Neill had. So making choices like this, it brings me some happiness to be able to be a part of this.
And what's next for you?
I have not got a clue, except for getting to the end of the run, getting to be with my wife for a little bit and enjoying that. I've been doing a lot of work for the past year, and I'll be happy to have a little time off.
A show that moved me to tears and made me think about my life was The Lucky Ones. And now we have the Bengsons. Did I do it right? No.
Super close, and I will take it. Hey, any way you want to say my name, I will embrace it.
Now, 100 Days of The Lucky Ones, you were basically known as like East Village rock stars, but now you're like musical theater people. Did you ever see this coming?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I've always loved theater and telling stories, and so finding a way for our music to exist in the larger arc of a whole night, I feel like that's really connected to having a good concert too. too, and so it's felt pretty natural for us in certain ways.
Yeah, it really did. No, we both always loved theater, and it's also with this form, it allows you to, craft a whole hour-long thing, and it lets you get so much more specific about your musical choices, and you get to really sit down and make something rather than having to pick it up and put it down every night in a new venue.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have had to go through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of valleys. How do you stay positive?
Oh my goodness, I think surrounding yourself with a family of positive people. So for us, it starts in our relationship. We're in love, we have a little boy, we focus on making a positive, loving environment for him and making a life that he will be proud of.
I feel like so much of it too is allowing the peaks and the valleys and just like recognizing when you're in which, and it's okay to sit in the pain sometimes, so long as like you can remember that it is a passing thing and there will be happiness on the horizon.
And what's next for you guys?
Our show 100 Days is going to La Jolla in September.
I love it. La Jolla's next.
Really? I can't wait.
Yeah, we have another show that we wrote with Sonia Taya, You'll Still Call Me By Name, which is going to be at Jacob's Pillow this summer. And we're making a 100 Days album. 100 Days is going on tour, and we have a new piece with Lincoln Center with Bess Wool and Rachel Chapkin that'll be coming up soon too.
From running the York Theater Company to producing Desperate Measures, he not only produces, but he also does the sets and makes them amazing. We're talking Jim Morgan. Jim!
How are you? Oh, are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, where am I? Where do I look?
Right there.
Hello, how are you? Lovely to see you.
Pain.
Sorry?
You're going to make editing a pain.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't know where I was supposed to look.
You brought a lot of shows from the York to now other venues.
Yes.
What is your formula for doing this?
Well, I don't know that there's a formula. I hope it's not a formula, but it's finding things, obviously, that people want to see and that have the potential of a longer life, that are literate and intimate and smart, and hopefully have an aspect of being unique about them. So when you do that, generally people start coming out of the woodwork to see it, and that certainly happened with Desperate Measures, which ran for 3.5 months at our theater in the fall. So now that it's moving to New World Stages, we couldn't be more excited. And to have this nomination for Outstanding New Off-Broadway Musical just sort of is icing on the cake.
What's the next show that's coming to the York that you think could move and have another life?
Well, we have a show running right now, Unexpected Joy, which is doing wonderfully. Then following that is a new one-man musical with Akin Babatunde called Lonesome Blues, about the life of the legendary bluesman, Blind Lemon Jefferson. But it's not him playing Blind Lemon for the whole evening. It's him playing about 10 different characters from Blind Lemon's life in the course of a 90-minute show. And he's an amazing actor. And
This sounds exciting.
it is exciting. Begins June 12th and runs into July. We're very excited about it.
Inventive is, to say the least, of what K-pop is. And we are with
Max Vernon.
Helen Park.
And you guys did the music, right?
Music and lyrics and orchestrations.
Yes.
Now, where were you coming from when you thought of K-pop?
Well, Ars Nova knew me because when I was like 21, I did an all-electronic musical about robots and celebrity, and so they approached me with this idea and Woodshed, and they were like, we don't know anyone in musical theater who does electronic music, and so they brought me onto the project that way, and I was like, I can't do this on my own. I went to grad school with Helen Park. She's an incredible electronic music writer and pop producer as well, so I was like, we got to write this together, we got to collaborate.
Yeah, this is like my first big thing. It's like my debut in theater, and so it's like a big thing for me, but also I've been in love with K-pop all my life, so it's like perfect, you know, both of my loves, theater and K-pop, this came together in a perfect opportunity.
Now, it's very hard to stay positive in this world. What do you do to stay positive?
I changed my eyeshadow.
I listen to K-pop music and sing and go to karaoke and sing K-pop.
And what's next for both of you?
Well, I think we're working really hard on trying to figure out how we can bring K-pop back in a new form because our whole run was sold out before our first preview, so we have all these loved ones that couldn't even get to see the show, so we want to figure out how to bring it back. But I'm also writing a musical about tattooed ladies with Aaron Courtney that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I'm working on an animation film right now with Netflix and Pearl Studio, and I'm also, working on, hoping that K-pop will come back soon, and kind of trying to brainstorm ideas for that.
My name is Camille A. Brown, and I'm the choreographer for Once on This Island.
And also Jesus Christ Superstar.
And Jesus Christ Superstar, yes.
What drives you?
What drives me? Spirit, definitely. The idea of being able to tell your own story, to tell it in another way. I believe that movement is a language. So for me to be able to communicate to people about how I'm feeling, about the world, about the culture, is something that's really a gift.
It's very hard to stay positive in this world today. What do you do to stay positive?
I create. All of the stuff that I see, the comments, the feelings that I have when I see things, I put it into my work. And I think that's the most important thing that we can do as artists, is that put all of those feelings, put that rage, put that love, put that healing into your work.
And what's next for you?
Oh, I'm doing The Wiz at the Muni and Ain't No Disco at Atlantic Theater.